The measure passed with almost 2/3 of the vote.
Afterwards, we did the surveys. They voted 6-1 for President George W. Bush.
And of course, you can always have a great debate over exactly how a ballot issue, or really anything in politics, influences a very close election.
John Green is a senior fellow at the Pew Forum on Religion and Public Life.
But at the minimum, it motivated many thousands of activists to get out and work hard to turn out the conservative Christian vote. And in the end, that probably contributed to President Bush's victory.
And someday the ACLU will go into the dustbin of history and the Christ of Christmas will still stand tall.
As the 2008 election approaches, Russell Johnson and Rick Scarborough are on the road again, looking for pastors and voters who share their Christian beliefs and who are willing to act on them.
We are going to stand by our convictions. We're not owned by any political machinery. We have the freedom to vote our conscience, and we will, by the millions.
Hello, this is Danelle.
Next, how phone calls and emails change America.
It just makes that connection for you.
Christian grassroots politics in action. And later,
Let me hear your battle cry tonight!
an army of teenagers fighting secular society in the name of God. In America, conservative Christians have altered the political and cultural landscape. They are on the front lines of divisive issues that touch everyone. Should abortion be legal?
Do you?
Should gays have the right to marry? What should your child be taught in school? How should judges interpret the Constitution? God's Christian warriors say they have the answers. They believe modern secular society has corrupted America and that there must be a return to what they call the religious foundations of the country.
People have experienced extreme disappointment with secularism, and so there has developed this countercultural protest.
As America enters another election season, nothing less than the social, political, and cultural direction of the country is at stake. God's Christian warriors know where they want the country to go, and they're not going to stop fighting until their battle is won.
Christ is King! Christ is King! Christ is King! Christ is King!
This is Danelle Tursini with Positive Christian Agenda.
Danelle Tursini is trying to change America. One phone call, one email, one law at a time.
Okay, you can call him and have him call me.
This is what grassroots politics is all about.
And it just makes that connection for you.
And God's Christian warriors are masters at it.
Hello.
My job is I deal with getting Christians involved in the public process.
Right. For what reason?
To influence government.
To do what?
To be we the people. To influence government as citizens of this country.
And then we also to provide you with the hundreds of bills that they're trying to pass.
We first met Danelle at a conference where Pastor Rick Scarborough was speaking.
We need to be impacting elections when the candidates are being selected.
If you go to the website,
Tursini was working, getting Christians to use their voices to influence politics.
Yeah, so I'm doing the pro-life work.
I traveled to her home base outside Seattle, Washington, to get an inside look at how she does her job.
So this is my office.
Yep. Where you rally the troops.
Yes.
What is that picture back there?
This is a picture at the East Wing of the White House in the Blue Room. I was the Washington State Church Outreach Coordinator.
That's the president there,
There's
who's
the
thanking you for your hard work. Great job, George Bush.
Right.
On the walls, maps of Washington State's legislative districts, photographs of all the legislators she's targeting.
But I like to have the pictures here because We're dealing with human beings. So,
but whose minds, many of them, you're trying to change.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely, and understand, and you know, and inform.
During the past legislative session, her organization says it facilitated nearly 59,000 phone calls and sent twice-weekly email alerts to nearly 100,000 people.
Tuesday, we actually sent out a reminder. We had sent out a big alert on Friday.
About the domestic partnerships.
Yeah, that was the domestic partnership.
And how long, I mean, do you spend, what, how many hours a day doing this?
During session, I work on average probably about 12 hours a day. It's nonstop.
Turicini is a mother and a grandmother who became involved in politics more than 20 years ago. At that time, she supported a woman's right to abortion until she saw an ultrasound image of her second child.
All of a sudden, I was like, whoa, wait a minute. This is a baby. I remember driving home from the clinic that day and thinking, they're killing babies. Abortion kills babies. So naturally, I started thinking, well, what can I do about that?
So you wanted then to change the law?
I realized
the
antidote to this travesty was to change the law.
They don't want anything to slow down abortions.
Turicini was working for a group called Positive Christian Agenda.
And what do we need Danelle to do here to round up the troops?
That's her boss, Joe Featon, a politically minded pastor who leads one of the state's most influential megachurches.
We're trying to hold back the barbarians who want to encroach upon the empire, if you will. And we're saying, no, the values of Christianity should be in the marketplace of ideas. They should be out there for all to see and to contemplate. Well, congregation, let's dedicate Hannah to the Lord.
Featon was instrumental in the fight to define marriage in Washington state as one man, one woman. And although American law prohibits him from endorsing candidates from the pulpit, he gets around that by referring parishioners to a personal website to see his pastor's pics.
The secularists always say, you're trying to set up a theocracy. You're trying to put your values on us. And I say to myself, hey, wait a second here. This is the way it's always been in America. You come along with your secular agenda. You're the ones trying to put your values on America, not me. Our values are native here. It's yours that are foreign. You're the illegal alien here, not me.
Danelle and her group also would bring their concerns directly to legislators.
Can you meet us in the middle of the rotunda, kind of near the gold seal?
This session, they lobbied for parental notification for abortions, against a domestic partnership bill, and against a sex education bill. Small groups such as hers can have a big impact.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
People don't understand the power they have by just getting involved and just get a few friends with you, and then it quickly rises to the attention of people like me and other elected officials.
Perhaps nobody in America knows that better than Ralph Reed, one of the most influential Christians in American politics.
You know, one of the reasons why it's hard to build a moderate or centrist political movement is because moderates are moderate. You know, they're just moderate. I mean, what do you get excited about? You know, whereas on the left or the right, people are really committed.
Can you give me the zip code ranges for the district?
Reed was the mastermind behind the Christian Coalition, the grassroots organization that transformed American politics. It was founded in 1989 on the coattails of Pat Robertson's failed bid for president.
The conservative Christians in the 80s, prior to Robertson, were voting Republican in the general election, but they weren't really involved in the machinery of the Republican Party. Robertson really changed all that.
Reed turned them into a political force. He mobilized voters using direct mail, sending on millions of voter guides that focused on the smaller local races. It was a new type of campaign, stealth politics conducted under the radar.